there's someone who wishes his name was on that ticket. Mike Eppel, we talked earlier about what you would do, and it's just, where do you begin? Where do you begin?
And if you won that kind of money or any real lottery, you wouldn't have to worry so much about rising interest rates now, would you, Melanie? Other than you'd maybe get a better rate of return on what you put in the bank, because Bank of Canada is expected to raise its benchmark interest rate this morning for a fifth time in the past year and a half by another 0.25%. So the cost of borrowing set to rise. This is important if you've got a variable rate mortgage, a home equity line of credit, or a personal loan of some sort that is tied to the policy at the central bank. It's going to be interesting to hear, though, what they say about the guidance going into 2019 already, as there's been talk that maybe the economy at this level can handle where interest rates are right now, maybe not so much for fear of cooling things off, maybe too much, hitting the brakes too aggressively. So it's going to be interesting to see what they have to say about that today. Markets have been hitting the brakes over the course of this month. It has been just a brutal time for the equity markets, which have been trending lower for most of October. Tuesday was another one of those days where at one point the Dow Jones was down over 550 points on some earnings worries, concern about global politics, economics, you name it. It was pretty much sell early and often, and could see a little bit more selling pressure coming up today as we're watching the Dow Futures Index fall by about 150 points in the early trade. Busy day coming up for earnings. We'll have results from Boeing and AT&T and Visa and UPS and Tesla, all set to report results through the day. To cut business taxes or not to cut business taxes. A little bit of a disagreement on what to do about policy after the U.S. Certainly cut their business and personal tax rates earlier this year. There's been some calls from the Canadian Senate that Finance Minister Bill Morneau should lower business taxes in this country to boost our competitiveness. Not so, says Canada's budgetary watchdog, saying that there's been no real evidence that foreign investment has been cooling on Canada with the current taxation rate environment. Now, there has been some criticism recently about policy in energy trade, for example, and other items. But again, that's going to be something to watch as we're awaiting a fall fiscal update from Finance Minister Bill Morneau sometime early next month. And the price for gas set to fall again at midnight tonight. Right now, we're looking at a 3-cent drop to around $1.19. The price for oil dropped dramatically Tuesday, fell by 4% in the U.S. and 16% on the Western Canadian price. So we've got an oversupplied market all of a sudden for oil, and that is helping at the gas pumps, but at the same time not exactly helping Canadian producers and their profitability. So we're watching that as well today. Send it back to the studio.